Thanks for tapping in with 95 South TV, hosted by Icon E and King J, bringing you the best news and media through the efforts of the community. We interview nonprofit organizations, business owners, school teachers, spiritual leaders, and anybody who has an impact in the community that has a remarkable backstory. These professionals that we bring on this show has a story that will wow you, that will knock your socks off. And with that being said, we want you to tune in, keep it locked. We want you to like, share, follow, and subscribe. Be a dedicated listener. Come in, and if you require to do an interview, you can definitely reach out to us at 95southpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for your ongoing.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Ikon. And once again, we here on 95 South TV. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity because without him, it would be no us. You know what I'm saying? Secondly, I got to introduce my right hand man, your baby mama favorite host. You know what I'm saying? Baby White Jr. voice himself, my man King Jacob. What's going on, brother?
What up, my brother? Glad to be in the land of the living, man. Let's get to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today we got this queen. You know what I'm saying? That, like, I would call her Miss Do It All because when I read her bio, she definitely does it all. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then we're gonna get into this interview.
Hey everybody, my name is Najahhafiz, and I am a singer, songwriter. I am a spoken word poet, actress, aspiring actress, also model.
Okay. So Jacob, I'm gonna let you start off the questioning with this young lady, and so we get this interview going.
Okay, so thank you for coming to the show. And if you can be so kind to tell us where you started at, how did this entertainment business start for you?
I started at a very young age. My love for music, I want to say I started when I was about 6 years old, and that's when I really discovered my love for that. And I started out in the church. I would go and perform on Sundays with my brother. My mom, she's Christian. My dad, he's Muslim. So I was always in the church on Sunday and in the mosque on Friday. So that's what I would do when it came to music. And then I started to continue my love for that by just doing recordings and writing. Really got into writing my poetry at a really young age. And then I got signed to a local agency when it came to modeling. I was about 15 years old out here in Michigan, called the I Group. And that was really fun. That allowed me to gain experience, more experience in the industry. And I got to, really get more into the photography. I got to do more print work. I did a fashion show. And yeah, so that's where I started when it comes to the entertainment.
Okay, so when you talk about Michigan, we are talking about the city of Detroit, correct?
Yes, I'm from Detroit. I grew up in Southfield, Michigan. The I group is located in Southfield, Michigan. So that's where that is.
Okay, so with that whole Detroit sound, you got Motown and Detroit really came up on the hip hop scene as well. So, trying to really own your own sound and be a heavy hitter in a city that puts so much great talent out. And so, how was that for you navigating at a young age and just coming into a world of so much great talent around the city?
For me, I use that as inspiration, other artists for me. Yes, there is a lot of competition, but I don't focus on that. I believe that my artistry is separate from everyone else just because I'm I'm me and I bring something different to the table.
Okay,
My own
okay, okay,
style. I'm very
okay,
universal.
okay. So when it comes to the world of singing, songwriting, being a model, inspiring actress, and being a spoken word poet. How do you balance all that together to really, you know, keep everything going as one?
I'm very particular with my time. I'm very cautious of my time. And everything that I do, I have a time limit for it. I balance everything out because I take what I want to do seriously and I love what I do. So it's kind of like a hobby to me. And on top of that, I'm also a mother of two. So I just make it work. I'm up all the time. I barely sleep.
Okay. So, when it comes to you first getting with the agency when you was 15 years old, um, a lot of people don't know what it takes to even get noticed by agency. Can you walk us through that process?
Of course, absolutely. So growing up, my biggest supporter, I would say, was my dad. So I had him in my corner my whole life, and he would go with me all the time to different auditions. I would always find different auditions around the city. I auditioned for um, America's Got Talent. He went with me. We stood in line for hours, and that was a lot of fun. And then I didn't get picked, but it was still a lot of fun. And then we also did a lot of other little auditions for different modeling purposes. And so it takes a lot of work and a lot of rejection. So you have to be able to take that and hear no and still keep going because I'm still here.
Right. Over to you, Icon.
Okay, before we continue the interview, first and foremost, everything we powered by uh inspireradio.com. We powered by 95 South Network on our YouTube channel. And before we continue on, being it's Black History Month, we have to play this real quick clip, quick clip of this James Brown experience. So everybody just stand by for a second because we got to play this clip right fast because this is a historical moment in the month of Black History Month. So we'll be right back here on 95 South Network.
Get ready for some super dynamite soul. It's that high energy stage show that's bringing back that funky good time. I Feel Good, an original James Brown tribute show that'll make you feel good. Starring the world's #1 master celebrity impersonator, C.P. Lacey, as the godfather of soul. It's an I Feel Good James Brown show like you've never seen before. Get up for that thing. Dance, sing. James Brown's entire all-star review, paying tribute to some of James Brown's funky divas, with Allison Williams paying a special tribute to the longest-lasting funky diva, Miss Martha High. A tribute to the famous Flames with Derek D. Johnson, Pastor D, bringing back memories of Bobby Bird. Oh, and Chester's own Seville Williams will be opening the show with some feel-good music and sharing the stage with the Godfather of Soul. February 21st at The Block, 777 Harris Boulevard, Chester, PA. D.B. Bazemore, WDAS's own Mimi Brown. It's the show you can't afford to miss. February 21st at Harris Casino, Philadelphia. Doors open 5 p.m., showtime 6 p.m. I Feel Good, a Godfather of Soul tribute. For tickets, visit ifeelgood.ticketlossity.com. Must be 21 to gamble. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, so we're back here on 95 South TV. We got this queen on here. So, take it here. So basically, just talk to people about when it comes to the experience of being able to go on different auditions, like you said, getting rejected. You know what I mean? What kind of experience it, or just being around and just kind of learning, what you need to do when you go on these auditions.
Yeah, so going on these auditions, you're going in and you don't know anything. You're just going in with, your own perspective of it. And, you want to think the best of it. I'm thinking positively no matter what. And, you want to get picked for what you're going for, but you have to, like I said, be willing to accept the fact that you might not get picked for everything. And so going there, you learn the moment you step in, it's a learning experience. And there's so many different agents and talent scouts and so many different people and so many different talents. And then, you know, the first thing you see is, wow, there is so much competition, but that's okay. You still go anyways, and you have a good time. For me, I had a good time no matter what. I always put on the best version of myself. And listen, you know, you have to listen and take criticism, because people will always have something, you know, to say. People will criticize you, but that's okay, because it can be healthy. And I learned from that. I take the good and the bad.
Okay, so when it comes to modeling, just talk to people about. You said it's real hard work. So what's the hardest thing? Because I know a lot of people think, oh, you just see people walk on stage and they twirl around and basically show off the fashion or whatever they're doing. So just talk about what's the hardest part about modeling.
The hardest part about modeling, there's so much more than just what people get to see, the glitz and the glamour. You have to keep up your appearance, you know, so you have to love your temple, you have to love yourself, you have to work out, eat healthy, and it takes, you know, someone who is going to take that seriously, their physical health, and then your mental health also. And you know, it's a lot of competition when it comes to that in the industry, so you have to stay in your own lane and focus on yourself. And you know, there's a lot of hours you put into that, you know, when it comes to the makeup process and getting the right poses, and it takes a lot of time. So you have to put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and
Okay,
take what
so
you want to do seriously.
let me ask you this: when it comes, so we've seen a lot of, you know, great supermodels of Vanessa Williams, basically Tom Brady's ex-wife, uh, people like that. So what does the people who pick models, when they pick them to be these superstar models, or they pick them to go on runways, whether it's to go into Paris or L.A. or New York, what do they look for? Like, kind of explain to people that want to get other women that want, or men that want to get into modeling. What do they actually look for to make you stand out to say you're the next one?
They're looking for confidence, for sure. Someone who, you know, show and exhort that star quality energy. Someone who shows positivity and who can um, be on time, be punctual. Someone who has a good personality. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like
So
there's so many things, so many different factors.
okay. So what's the best thing for you about modeling?
For me, I just love the artistry. I feel like modeling for me is art, you know, the poses and um, the photography, and getting able to, like, one time I got to get, he painted me. He did a portrait, and that was a lot of fun. So it's a lot of art into it. I'm very creative. I love art.
Okay. So when it comes to like all the different gifts you have, what's the one that's like the most, when I say, when I mean by most important, is as far as when it comes to like your mental health, or something that you can like get out that negative or positive vibe that's in you, like if you want to get something out, or just something that makes you like calms you down or puts you in like a peaceful place. Well, all your gifts, what's the most important one?
Music.
Music. Okay. Okay. So a lot of time when you are creating your music, is it always based on a vibe or something that, or like a relationship thing, or so where do you kind of get your creative ideas from with your music?
For me, it's pretty much what I'm going through. I love to tell stories in my music. I like to go off of my vibe some nights, and sometimes like I said, I have something in particular that I do want to talk about. I'm all about self love, self improvement, self empowerment. Um, femininity, spirituality, and I like to include that in my music.
Okay, so are you open to allowing other people to write for you?
That's something that I'm willing to think about. I am in the process of writing for myself, and I do like that. I feel like I'm good at it.
Okay,
So right
okay,
now, I am the writer, the singer, and songwriter.
gotcha. Okay, back to you, Jacob.
Yeah, so I understand that you're great at writing, but some of the some of the greatest singers and songwriters have had some other people write for them. So I think that when you kind of vibe and when it's a person from on the outside looking in and that can catch your vibe, I think your voice as a tool can make magic to what they write for you. So always keep an open mind about you working with some writers, and you may have it where y'all co-write the song. So and then other people want y'all to write something for them. So you can always have that lane open where you can write for other people as well.
Right, absolutely. That's something that I'm open to for sure. Because, like I said, I'm still in the process of learning how to write. And I do have people that I do work with. I have co writers now that's kind of helping me do the writing process. So I definitely know what you're talking about, and I'm open to that.
Okay, cool. So what artists would you say really influenced you? That really gave you that spark as well, because we always get a spark from you know somebody that's just talented and somebody that inspire us. So what few artists would you say really inspired you?
For me, my number one artist that really inspired me is Aaliyah. And growing up, I listened to a lot of Destiny Child. I listened to a lot of Monica, Ashanti, um, Mariah Carey, um, Sade.
Okay, okay, yeah. So you definitely have some good choices,
Thank you.
and excuse me. So with you having those type of choices, as you see the music industry when you was growing up, and you always had great R&B, great neo soul, great soulfulness on the radio, and you don't so much hear that any no more. They really changed the narrative. So what do you want your music to do to really change the narrative back when people really talked about love and relationships and talked about growth and self-development?
How do I want to bring it back?
Yes. How do you want to change the narrative with your music as being a voice where people can recognize, oh, she's different. You know what I mean?
By switching up the game and talking about something completely different than what they're talking about now. Like what you just said, talking about the things that they're not talking about, going back into the love and when the guy would court the girl and he's outside her window with the radio. I feel like since no one's doing it, it's going to stand out.
Okay, okay. And so, are you a up tempo person, or do you write love ballads? Like, what is your writing style?
Um, Well, right now I don't have a particular writing style. I started off with writing poetry, spoken word, and so I
Mhm.
like to, like I said, I'm kind of in the process of like telling stories through my music. Um, so it's not just focused on love.
Okay, okay. And so since you do write spoken word and you are a poet, so are you diversifying that poetry where you put out a spoken word album as well?
I would love to do that. I would love to do both, like, and put both at the same time because I feel like my when I do perform my poetry, it's kind of like me performing music, the way that I perform. So I think that people would love that. I think people would definitely take to that. My voice.
It's definitely different, and I think more spoken word artists need to put out, at least spoken word EP, if it ain't nothing but a 5 song EP. I think the originality of spoken word and the mental vibes and the meditation of spoken word. I think more people or now so would love to be in tune with it. When we looked at the subjective of the world and what's going on in society, I think there's healing power in the spoken word. So I would tell you definitely do that.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I agree. And
No
that's what
doubt,
I
no
want.
doubt.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That's what I want my art to do. I want to heal through my art, through my music, and self improvement. I want to talk about all the struggles that I've been through, and about the things that I've done to overcome those battles and fighting those demons that I have to overcome every day. So I would love to heal through all of my art and all of my music.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And shout out to DJ Cutmaster, man. Appreciate you plugging me in with this fabulous young lady. So, what is to you, what I mean, from what you see nowadays, what is the music scene like in Detroit right now?
Well, in Detroit, I feel like there's not a lot of female artists that are doing the R&B thing out here. It's a lot of rap, and they're doing amazing. I love the music out here, but I do feel like they have the same kind of style, the same kind of sound.
Hmm.
So I think they need to switch it up a little bit when it comes to that. Um, yeah, that's my take when it comes to the music out here.
Okay, okay. I
For
can.
me, I love Cash Doll, um,
Hmm.
T Grizzly, Sada Baby. Um, I have a lot of artists that I love that are from here, but I do feel like they do have the same similar style, and I would
Okay,
love to
so
hear a R&B artist come from out here. There's no one that I really know.
right, right. So speaking of that, Detroit was always known for its great singers and its great songwriters and its musicians. So what do since I don't live there and that's your area. So what do you think is the dilemma why you know there's no more R&B artists in the city, or there's none coming out of the city nowadays? What is that
You know,
dilemma? Because I'm pretty sure there's tons of singers out there, but why they not stepping to the forefront?
I don't know if it's they're not getting seen, they're not getting heard, they don't have a platform. I think there's so many different reasons to maybe why they're not getting their music pushed. But for sure, there's so many underground artists from here who I would love to see and hear more of. Um, we don't really have those auditions that they used to, put together back in the day. And nowadays, all you have is the baddies audition and things like that. So I think it's just the fact that people don't have no one pushing their music.
Right, right. She said the baddies audition. Now, she said that in a city like Detroit, you got the baddies audition. Now, listen, Arkan, man. Now, you know that both of our houses had the sound of Motown playing in our houses, though, when we were growing up now. And she said that she don't know no singers in Detroit. In
That's
Detroit,
bad.
there's no singers. Man, I can't back to you, man. Back to you, bro.
Well, I wanted to go back a second. Something Jacob was talking about. You and Jacob was talking about. So, and me and my son had this discussion because he's an artist, and so he said, "Well, in today's climate of R&B, women want you to be straightforward, meaning they want you to talk basically nasty to them or raunchy to them. But I'm like, if you're doing R&B music, do y'all have any discretion or any like imagination of talking to a woman in in a sexual way without having to necessarily like just be so blunt with it? You know what I'm saying? So even if you look at like sexual healing, it's a sexy song, but it has a certain sensuality to it where it still comes off where you can feel like if you in the bed, you know, that intimate moment with your man that y'all really that intimacy is there and that romanticism is there. So
Right.
being that you are a singer in this generation, how do you feel about that?
You know, I don't like being talked to crazy. I love romance. I love to be romanticized. I love when a man is a gentleman. So, everybody like those aggressive type of guys too. So everybody have their own preference. I'm old school, so everybody's
Okay.
different.
Yeah. So being that you in this era, and I remember I was on Instagram with a young lady one time, and she said the best thing that ever happened to them in this generation was basically streaming and social media. And I said, well, are you making any money off of social media? And she said, no, but I have a lot of fans. And I said, well, that doesn't make any sense to me because if you have a lot of fans, but they're not buying your music and they're not putting any, and they're not, you just basically on there all day, just, interacting, that's cool. But if you're not making any money off your music, how is it the best thing that ever happened to you? So we had this thing for a while. Well, me and Jacob always talk about how one, I think a lot of people don't realize that people still buy CDs, they still buy vinyl, and at the end of the day, that's where you make your money. So, how do you feel about the difference between the streaming platforms and actually putting your music in stores where you can sell the CDs and the vinyl and make all your money?
I would love to do both. If CDs are still a thing, then why wouldn't I want to do that? Growing up, I definitely always wanted to have my own hardcover CD. That's what I would always go and buy. I remember going to the mall and, looking for my favorite artists and going through the book, looking at the art, the visuals. It's nothing like it. And having all your collections of your favorite artists. But, going into this new era that we're in, that's what people are doing now. They're just doing the live podcasting and everything is digital. So I'm with both. If they're still doing the hardcovers, why not?
Okay, so I'm gonna put you on game then. I'm glad you said that, young lady. So, and I tell people this all the time. I live in Atlanta. There's actually two stores in Atlanta that sells CDs and vinyl. One is called DBS Sounds, and there's another guy. I forgot the name of his store, but it's in one of the Fleet Mall outlets in the South Side in the Riverdale area, Jonesboro area of Atlanta. And
Okay.
so DBS Styles been around for about 20 plus years. Now, they had Cardi B there when her album dropped, and they do actually they put her music in there on CD and vinyl, and they actually do a I guess you want to call autograph signing or picture signing, whatever they call it nowadays. It's probably more of a picture thing more than an autographs. But they actually have a album signing day, and they have all types of genre music. It doesn't matter, old school, new school, everything. So if you want to, and so that's what I think our culture believes in the hip hop and the R&B world. We've been tricked to believe that CDs and vinyl don't sell, so the record labels can make all the money. You know what I'm saying? But at the
Mm,
end of the day,
that
they
makes
still do.
sense.
Yeah, I talked to the guy. His name is Lord, I forgot the guy's name, but he's a Jamaican guy. And basically,
Mm,
he was saying, I think it's like 750 actually record stores in America, like for that sells like urban music, and it's like another 1,500 that sells when it comes to like pop music or country or whatever, still in
okay.
America. So you just have to do your research on them. But
Yep.
I'm telling you now, young lady, don't get caught up and just think that it's streaming, that people still buy. That's why Cardi B went, I think she sold what, 2, 3 million copies the first week or something, with some crazy number, because she's
Wow.
actually
Yeah.
doing what they call grassroots, going grassroots promotions. And if you don't
I've
know what
seen her doing
grassroots mean,
it.
you know what grassroots mean.
Yeah.
Basically, foot on the ground, going
And she
from
was
store to
promoting
store.
it. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
I would love to
So,
do that.
so I just wanted to put you on game, and not just for yourself, but any other artists that may listen to this, then to know, don't get caught so much on this streaming, because first of all, they're trying to get rid of it. They're trying to get rid of TikTok in America anyway, and they're trying to get rid
Right.
of a lot of the social media stuff, and even like YouTube, they got it now where you can't even really make money off of your YouTube numbers anymore, off your views and stuff anymore. So they cut that out. You can't even get on Billboard off of YouTube anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Off your YouTube numbers. So they
Okay.
just changed that law like 2 months, like a month or two ago, month and a half ago.
That's
I read up
good.
on it myself. Yeah. So basically, it's best to try to get as much ownership as possible when you're doing your music. So we're gonna
Absolutely.
shift gears a little bit, and I just want to say, when it comes to the TV movie world, what has it been a role yet that you played that you really enjoyed yet?
No, I have not had a role that I've played that I've enjoyed. I would love to get into that also. I love to act. The only acting I've really done so far is I've done little skits here and there, and then I've done music videos. So we did little acting in the music videos. I was an extra in a movie here at the Shutter Boy movie, and that was an experience. I got to really see how it works and all that. I met the director, and he was really nice. But no, I have not had a role of my own yet. I almost did. He was going to give me a role, but I didn't take it.
Okay. How much you know about Murder Payne? Because I think Murder Payne is from your city. You've heard of that director, filmmaker Murder Payne?
I've heard of him.
Yeah,
I
he
don't know
does a
much
lot of
about him.
Tubi movies. He does a
Okay, so it's
lot
like
of Tubi
Tubi.
movies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and even what's his name? Jamal Woodward, the one that played Biggie in the Notorious movie. He just did a movie called Rico Detroit. So I think he's starting to do a lot of stuff out there. And I know both of them have a lot of content on Tubi. So if
Okay.
I would definitely, look into maybe some of the stuff that they got, because I think they
Yep.
probably already looking for new people to put in movies and stuff that they're doing out there in
Yeah.
Detroit.
That's what me and
Um,
my manager were talking about. Tubi. I would love to get into that.
Okay, okay. So what would be like the perfect role, like the role that you would want to play? Because you think about it, if they ever did a Leah movie, you could definitely play a Leah. You have
You think
a
so?
lot of same. Yeah, you got some of the same features. So I think you could pull that off.
I would
Talent
love to do
wise,
that.
and then just the look. I think you could pull that off if they act. Because I know they did the Leah biopic, but that was terrible. The one they did on Lifetime. I
It
don't even
was
know why
terrible.
Lifetime need to stay away from biopics because
It
they
was
always be trash.
horrible.
You know what
It
I
was
mean?
disrespectful.
Exactly. And nobody looked like nobody. And I don't
No,
think
she didn't
one
look like
person
her
looked like
at
the person
all.
they were supposed to be playing. It was crazy. I was like, who in the world did the picking the cast in this movie?
I know.
They
That's
whoever
what
it is
I
don't need to
said.
never do that job ever again in life.
They need to get fired right now,
Exactly. For real.
immediately.
Yeah. So what role would be something that you would want to do?
I would love to do something like that, showcase my talent, my music, my voice. And then I love horror. I love horror films. I would love to do something like that. That's one of my favorite. Action. I would love to do something action wise. I did karate and things like that back in the day, so I want to get into that. Like I really want to do something like that.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. If you do a horror film, because I don't really like horror films, I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, they never scary to me because most time it's not realistic. And secondly, in 2026, I better not see white girl, black girl, whoever girl falling when she getting chased. That's the most clichéest
No,
doggone terrible thing that they do in movies when you running and the person always fall. Oh, my ankle. No, we're not doing this in 2026. Stop it.
I don't want that part. I don't want that role.
Hey,
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 if I
hey,
was
hey, I can't let me say this right here, man. Jason Voorhees on Friday 13th. He walks slower than lava coming from a volcano. And these women fall, and Jason appears there with the machete and chop their head off. How did Jason get to these women that fast?
It's
hey, but you know,
unrealistic.
yeah, but you know
I
what's
was always
funny?
scared of Michael Myers.
Really? Yeah, well, Michael Myers, that music, he was a little bit more scarier and he was strong as all get out, you know what I'm saying? But I would say this when it comes to Michael Myers, when it comes to Jason Voorhees, they have that whatever that thing. It's almost like a superpower when they show up, even though when they running. I think they have that on. That's their lane. I'm cool with them when it comes to them because that's that go back to the '70s. I'm cool with that. But I'm talking about these new fall horror movies. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that falling down stuff. Y'all better figure out something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they need to come up with some new ideas. I don't know what's been going on lately with the horror movies.
And excuse me. And that's another thing too is they keep remaking stuff, and I'm they remake that. You know what they messed up? I didn't even want to watch it. I don't
Mm,
know if you've seen it. If you ever seen the original Roadhouse, but
mm-mm.
it's a movie called Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. The first one I can watch it every time it come on, but they made a new one and they made it a comedy. So if you watch the first Roadhouse, it was more like I guess you want to say a drama thriller. I don't know what lane you would put that in. Maybe action, maybe a little bit action drama. But the new one's a comedy. So I said I don't even want to watch it because I know this gonna be trash. You know what I'm
That's going to
saying?
be a completely different vibe.
Exactly. So it's like if you're gonna remake something, especially this, is what I don't like when they remake a movie, like do a part two or something 30 years later. It's like you might well call it something else because like when they did Coming to
Exactly.
America, you're not gonna get the same vibe of Eddie Murphy and Arsenio and all them guys 30, 40 years later. It's just not. I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I feel
So
you.
especially when
Like
he a
the Fresh
king with a
Prince,
baby mama.
the new
What's that
Fresh
what now?
Prince, the new Fresh Prince remake for me,
Yeah.
it's just giving me a completely different vibe.
Yeah. It was good on its on as far as the content of it,
It's
but what
good.
made it kind of bad is because they kind of watered down and made the characters more derogatory and more cliche-ish.
I think that's what it
The,
is for me.
yeah,
And,
how the
and
butler a butler is a gangster and the son a drug addict, and you know what I'm saying?
It's just
like,
completely
and,
different. I'm like,
and then
okay, this is
and then
different.
I
I
can't
like it.
when the Fresh Prince came out, dog. They would never talk about no same sex dating one another, man. Like that's just like dated what back when that came out. If you gonna make a spinoff, man, make it realistic. You know what I mean?
uh-huh.
If you gonna try to change it to modern day times, well, don't call it the Fresh Prince. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
Exactly.
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
That's how I
yeah.
feel about it.
Well, so just let us know. So, what is it? Anything like you got coming up, or you into right now that you can kind of talk about that you really got your hands in right now?
Yes, right now I am working on music. I'm writing and I'm working with someone who's really helping me with my writing skills and my writing abilities. And so my next step is getting into the studio to lay everything down. So I have that's the project I'm working on. I want to start an EP. Um, in my poetry, I'm kind of doing both at the same time. That's my main thing right now. So artist development and my music.
That's what I wanted to ask you before I kick it back to Jacob real quick. That's what I wanted to ask you. So, how do you feel about? Because we talk me and Jacob about this all the time. Being that you from Motown, the Motown city, how do you feel about artist development? Because Barry Gordy pretty much created that, especially for R&B music and for our culture. He created that whole blueprint on artist development. So how do you feel about that? For people for artists in your especially in this time and era when everybody wanted all quick. They want it like yesterday, like instant grits. How do you feel about that?
Nothing is gonna come. Nothing good comes that fast or that easy. And there's always room for growth. We all need to grow. And so we all need to develop as an artist, especially, when you're coming in first starting in the game. I want to be the best. So I want to be ready. I want to feel like I'm prepared. I want to feel confident. So just starting and putting myself out there, I'm not going to feel as confident as I would if I go through the artist development, put myself through, making sure I'm doing things correctly. I want to be professional and show myself in the best light. So, a lot of artists, yeah, they don't want to go through that. They want things fast and they want to take the fast path, the fast route. But I don't do that.
Okay. Hey, Jacob, got any more questions?
And I just need to know, need her to keep us updated on when the project is coming out, when is the album, when is the EP release party, and I would say to her, while you're doing that, you should shop yourself to a new agency and try to get you some commercial work done, some print work done, and because they're always looking for new faces and new places, and they're willing to give you give you some money, for your time and for your look and for your art. So I would say this: whether you shopping with agencies in Atlanta, whether you shopping with agencies in New York, whether you shopping with agencies in LA, in Las Vegas, in Paris, in London, you just need to shop yourself to every agency, with your portfolio and with your comp cards and all the above, and just shop yourself with new agencies. So you know what I mean, because there's definitely a lot of work, and most models become actresses, and so most modeling agencies are connected with movie producers and movie directors, and they go hand in hand and they work together. So I would say you definitely should talk with your management and just definitely tell him to really shop you, because those commercials run forever. And so if you do some commercial work for, whomever it may be, and as long as they run that commercial, you definitely gonna get a percentage of their royalty check, and they're gonna pay you some upfront money.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
let him.
Man, I would say this too. Don't be afraid to do other things that's outside the box, outside the norm. Whether it is like uh anything, any kind of content creating type stuff. You know what I mean? If you got an idea for it, your manager has an idea to do something, don't be afraid to try new things. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to put yourself out there in a way, you keep it classy, keep it whatever. But I'm just saying, don't be afraid to do something that nobody else is doing. Everybody can do. You got a million women doing the twerking stuff on Instagram and TikTok. You got, the cooking stuff. You got all of that. But you might have something that people may want to see, even if it's creating your music on live, or if it's, whatever it is, teaching people how to model, you know what I mean? Going through the model routines, or what, showing, writing your poetry, or showing how you create your poetry, just whatever it is, if you show the world, then, you're a beautiful young lady, people will watch, you know what I mean? Or whatever, just because of that alone. And then once you're the eye candy, but then the eye candy goes into the actual talent, and then people want to see, okay, what this young lady doing? It's different. And then next thing you know, you got your own fan base. Then you can start pushing the music and everything else you're doing. And now you got an established cult following. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
absolutely.
yeah. So anyway, just tell everybody where they can find you. I appreciate you coming on, giving us your time tonight. I can see you doing a lot of great things. You're a very humble young lady. So
Thank
I
you.
definitely want to see you win. So just kind of tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes, go ahead. You guys can add me on Instagram at Najahhafiz and on Facebook also. And then you can also add me at underscore pure underscore divinity. And that's on Instagram also. It's like my digital magazine. Check me out.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time. God bless you. And if there's anything we can do to help you out, just reach out to King Jacob, and then we do what we can.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. You have a good night.
You too.
Brown skin girl, and she knew I was out to go and clear my mind.